Sally,
But we'll
look,
continue. We will, what do you got there? What do you?
I got my red stapler, a red swing lane stapler.
I don't know what that means.
Please, you don't staple capability statements.
Oh, is that what it is? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you do not staple capability statements. It's bad. Bad luck. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Everybody knows that, right?
Have you seen
Yeah.
Office Space? Have you seen Office Space?
Dude, I don't have any idea what you're talking about.
Okay.
Hey, Greg.
Greg Clark's in the
Greg's
house.
in the house. Yeah, Greg.
Thanks
All right.
for spreading the good word yesterday at 2, Sally.
Absolutely.
Hey, there you go. All right, great. And I think we might have some other folks that are going to be here we have somebody that's new. I'm hoping Patrick signs up.
Looks like
He gets in here.
Zachary is the only individual from your team, correct? So Zachary, you're ready to, with your.
Zachary is ready to rock and roll.
Add things. when
Zachary's
Dave's
ready with the links.
Zachary, I need to get with you on the response you sent to me today.
Yes.
Just seeing if what kind of help you can give to Yvonne. I guess just got to get a better understanding about it so we can talk this afternoon.
Sounds good.
Okay.
There we go. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get this show on the road. Welcome. We are in Q4, not just Q4. We're in the less than the last 60 days, ladies and gentlemen. I am, for those of you who don't know me yet, I'm Dave Lowe. We help companies collect the data on the federal marketplace. We turn that into intelligence and then proactive marketing campaigns that help support your business development. You can see here on the right-hand side, there's a whole bunch of things that that fall under our world. We're going to be talking today about market essentials and the custom reports that you can get, is that's about what you can do nowadays to get out in front of key decision makers. And it's based on reports that is most important to you. We also have GovBrief. We'll talk a little bit about that. VFedCon is what we launched last year to do virtual federal conferences before it was cool and everybody else was capitalizing on that. And we also have SAN.bid, which is out. It's finally out, including the AMP system and Quick Fuse and direct to GSA Advantage marketing. In fact, if you have a GSA contract, you can sign up for this right now. If you don't, you can't get it. Quick Fuse, QUIKFUSE.com. You can test drive for 3 days. That's all you get right now because there's a whole bunch of stuff and we're not doing it for free. I can tell you that, but you can test drive it for 3 days and you'll see how it works. And if you keep it for a year, we will guarantee that you will get 500% more than you spend on GSA e-buy monitoring with Quick Fuse, or we will refund every cent of your money. And guess how many times we've had to refund money? Nada, zero. There you have it. Real quick, we have a couple of important things that are coming up this Thursday. Selling your GovCon business. If you want to know how to get value from federal contracts to enhance the value of your company, this is the place to go. Evan Meester is going to be doing it. And I'm going to be talking about doing business with FEMA. You can get to both of those at govbrief.us. In fact, there is a ton of briefings that we do to push out to the federal buyers, program managers, as well as any of the other people that are touching the federal universe. We have one on data collection, one on SharePoint, one on medical supplies, cleared personnel, dry fog disinfectants, all of those you can find on govbrief.us. And this is the only way I know for us to be able to get out and reach the program managers. So put it in your plan for 2022 because you can't do it now, right, Sally White? You can't do it. It's too late.
Absolutely 100% correct.
Correct. Too late. Cannot do it now, but you can do it in 2022. Fiscal year 2022 starts when, Greg Clark?
October 1st.
October 1st, baby.
You caught me reading the chat.
That's right. It's okay. You can read the chat. Rafael Moret, the doctor, the good doctor is in the house. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going, man. Rafael Marrero, we're going to be talking a little bit for you today to prep for is what can you do to help people today to get out in front of people before September 30th, because there's a lot of money there. So you're going to be talking today about capabilities. You can talk about search for 2022. You do that kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And
well, we're going to be focusing on the key component right now, given the time to market I think the most important thing is procurement and contract readiness.
Mhm.
Folks need a capability statement that they can present that will tell the story, and they need an accurate snapshot, if you will, of their profile, which is the SAM registration. So they need to may need to revamp that, and we're here for them to make sure that the keywords, the technical certifications, professional certifications, aside from the socioeconomic certifications, and partnerships that they bring to the table, that the government and government buyers clearly understand what they have to say.
You got that right. And just for you, Rafael Marrero, I got my blue. He's the only one that I know that can rock the blue glasses. I do it as a prop, but he does it for a living. Sean May, you in the house?
I'm in the house. Absolutely, David.
Sean May's in the house. He's a tall, dark, and handsome man, apparently, because he's not sharing his camera. But
I'm driving.
maybe he's sitting in a tub or something. We don't want to know.
No, I'm
Oh.
driving.
TMI.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sean May is with Fed Practice. They're lawyers. They're good kind of lawyers. They're on K Street, but they don't charge K Street kind of price heads. And
Absolutely.
hang on a second, Peter. I'm going to mute you because you're popping up in front of Sean May. But they help with bid protests. A lot of that stuff happening in September. I am certain about it. And they help with security clearances and getting those, as well as being federal compliance experts. Right, Sean? Did I do a good
Absolutely.
job?
Contract reviews, anything to do with government contracting, we can certainly sit down and help you. And if you come and mention Dave Lowe's name, we will give you some free information.
For free. My favorite four-letter word, for free. Awesome. So Sean, you've been using the AMP system. Tell us about the AMP system. Because that's one of the latest things that we brought out, because you're one of the beta guys.
It is truly a very efficient system that supplies you with all the information that you need, including the contracting officer and all the other details. You work with Chris Wagner and Dave's team, and you give them the NAICS codes that are relevant to your firm. And those are the only ones you get and see, which again saves time. And we've been extremely impressed and happy with the information that comes out.
Yep. And that labels you to pick up the phone or email them and deliver your value proposition and develop a relationship. It is working right now.
Absolutely.
And guess what? If you sign up today, Zachary, pop your information in here for your meeting. If you sign up today, it's 50% off. And that includes your your SAM.bid as well as the AMP system. So do it, and he will get you through it. And I'm telling you, it is a game changer. And we are populating everything that we need right now to help you win in the federal space. We also have Greg Clark in the house.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good. And Greg, you help with proposal writing. No proposal writing happening right now, right?
Yeah, so we've been actually this weekend will be our 26th anniversary. We started in 1995, and through proposal assistance, we've helped our clients win a little more than 380 contracts with a combined value getting close to $2 billion. And we've also helped.
Wait a minute. How many billion?
What?
$2 billion.
Billion.
So, and then as far as GSA schedule support, we've helped a little more than 420 companies get on the schedule, and everything else we do is in support of those two areas.
And can you get a GSA schedule by September 30th?
Maybe.
No,
Probably not. We got one in 13 days from.
That's craziness. That's not normal.
Days.
That's not
And that's
normal.
including preparing the application and submitting it and going through the evaluation process. It
That's
was a
almost-
unique situation,
it's almost-
but it happened.
It can happen, but chances are it ain't.
It's not.
He had
no,
the Rand
it's-
Corporation working for him.
What was that?
The Rand Corporation.
Oh,
Sally, what would that go?
Hi,
Wolf?
everyone. Morning. So happy to be here. I just put my information in the chat as an example of what you'll want to do.
That's
Basically,
right.
you want to tell everyone who you are how they can reach you on LinkedIn or your website, your number, because there's a lot of opportunities for you in this meeting. People will connect you, etc. And what I do, I'm a collaboration partner of the wonderful ISI team, having met them a little bit after COVID started. And basically, I help you get your website ready, your digital footprint, so that everything that you show publicly on your LinkedIn, any social media platforms, is as elegant and comprehensive and beautiful and helpful as your products and services are. And some people here, won't mention any names, they had over 1,000 contacts and yet they had no pictures on their LinkedIn, and we got them so they're looking really good. The other thing I can help you do is connect you to executives. I know a lot of senior level executives in the DOE, DOD, because Dave loves us, walk and stalk in a friendly way.
That's right. She's a stalker.
Virtually. So happy to
She's a
help you.
stalker.
I put my Calendly, and again, because you're a friend of Dave's, you're a friend of mine, so I give people 15 minutes of my time to sort of help you plan your situation. Happy to help. Thanks so much. Love being
There
here.
you go. Love it, love it. We'll be talking a little bit because you will also, we talked about this, help some folks with creating their content and emails and such. We're going to come back to you. Peter Timmis, I don't have a whole lot for you today, but I will say this guy helps you get funding for your contracts once you get them, right, Peter?
We have just celebrated our 30th year of being a trusted financial resource for companies. So whether you're new, you're existing, you're a small company, big company, we're going to lend to your opportunity rather than your financial statements. And the other piece that's very important is that we'll provide you with a letter of financial support if you're bidding on a contract, because you got to get yourself in front of the buyers. If you don't get yourself in front of the buyers, everything else is immaterial.
You got that right. We're going to be talking about that a lot. Thank you for the setup, Mr. Timbus. We're going to be talking about that. And I also have somebody that's brand spanking new with us, Patrick Carney. You there?
I'm here. Good morning, all. How y'all doing?
So Patrick, you and I met because Brian Hebel did the CPARS presentation a week ago or so, and you also help with CPARS. So tell us about you and who you are and what you do.
Okay, I've been doing defense work from the contractor side for 25 years, and dealing with some of the struggles between the government and contractor on performance evaluation and how the requirements tie to execution, how execution ties to government satisfaction, and how that ties to CPARS. So I founded Productivity Wave. We're a project management solution purpose-built for service contracts. So we provide measures and metrics of your recurring activity so you can be more competitive in your future contract pursuits.
So if you're doing federal contracting and you know what CPARS is, put your name in here so that you can talk to Patrick. Patrick, make sure you put your stuff in there, say CPARS in your thing, and we'll be in good shape. I appreciate you being here. It's his first time, so he has no idea what to expect out of this, but we appreciate you being here. A little bit about this session. It's always free. It's the second Tuesday at 11 a.m. Over 2,400 people registered. We have 341 right this minute.
Wow.
that are on here. So that is fan-doggone-tastic. But we'll get you in touch with some federal sales experts, as well as people that can help with CPARS and financing and lawyers and all that kind of stuff. We are real about how things work. We do not blow sunshine. We do not give silver bullets because there ain't none. And so we do have successful winning strategies to get you out into the marketplace. And we will be showing off isiFederal and all the folks here today that can help you get to where you want to go. And if you don't like it, you can roll out, because just remember how much you paid to be here, because it was free. So if you're after opportunities, RFIs, RFQs, RFPs, if you want to reach federal stakeholders, specifically today, we're going to be talking about buyers, you are in the right place. And if you want to talk to any of the other businesses that touch the government universe, you are also in the right place, because we can help you find the buyers, find the program managers, find the prime contractors that can help you win business and support federal contracts. Real quick disclaimer, this is not affiliated with GSA or any other agency. It's provided to you for informational purposes. If we have anybody from the government They can participate. This is from GSA, as a matter of fact, but it's not an endorsement to buy from you or anybody else. See, so we did that.
And we want to say welcome to our friends from the government who are here, Dave.
That's fantastic. I have no idea who's here from the government because I can't see the lists. But if you would like to participate, chatting is the best way. Or raising or Q&A and raising your hands. We have over 345 people here. So chances are we love, if you got something that you want to contribute, we definitely want to hear it. Make sure you get your company in there, right, Sally? What do you want to put in there?
Company name, LinkedIn, and we're all linking with each other live while Dave is giving us this wonderful information. So feel free to engage.
There you go. So yeah, make sure you put your information in there. If you've been living under a rock and you have no idea how Zoom works, because I don't know how you could possibly not, but if you don't
shame them, don't Zoom shame people, no Zoom shaming.
All right, whatever. So you go up to the top and you can adjust things as needed. Session handouts. I got to get this. I don't have these. If somebody from my team can grab the winnable opportunity matrix from GovBrief, Zachary, reach out to Audra and have her give you the link, or Aisha, and they'll give you the opportunity matrix. I want to make sure you have that, and we'll make sure you get the links for the capabilities and VA procurement readiness. We'll make sure that happens. I don't have those things today. Why in the world are you here today? Are you new to federal contracting? Do you have federal contracts as a subcontractor and want to become a prime? Everybody should want to. I have federal prime contracts and want to grow, or some nut sent me an email. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. We will get to it. We got a lot to do today, and we're already 15 minutes in. I cannot believe that. While you're answering that, I want to talk about why you're here today. You're here because there's $1.4 trillion in the 2021 budget, and it looks like this: $694 billion in DOD, $706 billion in the civilian market, and every dime has to be spent by when, Greg Clark?
September 30th.
September 30th. Oh, that would be Hawaiian time, as a matter of fact. So you can have some stuff happen in the wee hours in the morning. I will say that. And we are in Q4 in the federal space. And if you want to win, you're going to have to take your final shot. If you haven't been out in front of everybody like you should have been, no shaming there, Sally. I'm not shaming people. I'm just saying you got to get out and get out in front of people. All right, let's see what we got here from the 202 people that are awake. All right, it says, we got 51% that are new. That's fantastic. You're in the right spot, right, Sally?
That's absolutely correct. You're here.
And we got a bunch of folks that have subs and a bunch of folks have prime, and a lot of folks that got a nut that sent them an email. I do not know what you're talking about. All right, so we'll be talking about what does your final shot look like if you're going to be selling to the government in fiscal year 2021. That is right now, ladies and gentlemen. You got to get out in front of those. So what is the number one thing that the government says to do? Rafael Marrero, what do they tell us to do? Where do they tell us to go?
Check FBO.
Check FBO, now sam.gov. Used to be beta, still should be beta, because it is a piece of work. No offense to the GSA people that might be here. So we're going to talk about getting real about what happens in the market. Back in 2009, somebody turned me on to fpds.gov. If you don't know what that is the repository of all the federal contracts in history. It's not everything, because the government, let's just say the government, it's not all complete. Let's just leave it like that.
A lot of opportunity for improvement with the government.
But what we're looking at is that sam.gov has opportunities, FPDS has awards. And yes, FPDS does still work. So you don't have to text me that. It does still work. You can't run the reports anymore, but it does still work because they moved everything to sam.gov, and now it doesn't work on sam.gov. But if you do this in FPDS and you look at the fiscal year of 2020, that was last year, and you'll see 127,622 opportunities that hit the street with RFPs. All right. What happens if you look at FPDS? There's 6.2 million, more than that. You have a ton of things that are hitting there, and something just does not look right. And it's because there's a difference of 6.1 million, over 6.1 million between awards and opportunities. And that means that 98% doesn't hit. So where do you want to be? Do you want to be here? And it's okay, because guess what? If you want to sign up for sam.gov or sam.bid, which we're monitoring sam.gov, Zachary, pop that in there so that people can sign up for that today. They're going to want to do that right now. So pop that in there, Zachary, for your sam. You can get on the sam.bid monitoring. There's lots of competition. The other 98, 3 out of 4 have less than 5 competitors. 76%, as a matter of fact, have less than 5 competitors. So where do you want to be? Guess what else? 38% only have 1 response. That's why we've done unsolicited proposal, right, Greg Clark?
That's exactly right. Yep.
And that's why we did J&A stuff, right, Sean May?
Absolutely.
J&A is sole source justification and approval. For those of you who don't know the legalese kind of thing, this is how things happen. So we're going to be talking about the winnable opportunity matrix. Can we get that in there? Did you get that in there, Zachary, for me? The winnable opportunity matrix. But when you see it, this is what it's going to look like. You can download it when you're done. But you want to know early. I'm going to tell you how it works. You want to know early. You want to have the right number of competitors. You want to know that you're in the wheelhouse because you're looking at your competition. If you're the incumbent, then you're going to be looking at the other people that you want to keep from getting into. I just want to make sure I put that on do not disturb. Sorry. With the right competition. Is it your right contract size? If you are a business that just started, chances not are you not going to win the $100 million contract, right, Greg Clark?
Absolutely.
That is true. Is it real? Is it budgeted? If it isn't budgeted, it ain't real. So it has to be budgeted and funded, and you can influence the process. And oh, by the way, one of the ways you influence it is the budget, but you can influence the scope of work. Does that really happen? Greg Clark, can we influence the scope of work?
You can absolutely influence the scope of
You can
work.
absolutely influence the scope of work. And so there's ways to be able to do that in the responses as well. That you also want to minimize the competition, shrink the number of competitors to 5 or fewer. That's one of the places to be. And you want to drive the turnaround down to fewer days, because if it's only a few days and you know what the scope of work is and your competitor doesn't, it's a beautiful thing. Happens all the time. And it's happening to you right now because your competition is doing it to you right now. Then we're going to also talk about building relationships with the stakeholders. And I'm going to tell you who the stakeholders are. They are contracting officers, they are program managers, the technical representatives, and administrators, which can encompass a lot of different folks up in the senior level of the food chain. Directors, SESs, politicals. The politicals are the ones that are appointed by the president, and the other folks are the senior level bureaucrats that run things. No matter what you're doing, each one of these folks have different reasons for making decisions. And you need to know what they are. And today we're going to be talking about a specific one of these people, because you only have one shot, and that's to get to the buyers. Peter Timbus said it. You got to get to the buyers. And the objective is to move these folks into the green. If you've ever done Miller-Heiman before, strategic selling, this is a modification of the Miller-Heiman method. In this instance, you can look at the lower part of this. This favors your competition, right? And if you don't know who they are, we'll talk about that in just a minute. The top part favors you. Make sense? So the bottom part, it favors your competition. The top part favors you. If they're number one, you're all right. Hey, you didn't spit on them while you were talking. You didn't step on their shoes in the elevator. You're a decent person. You're just okay. The next one is they kind of like you. Hey, it's kind of like when you start dating somebody, right? So they kind of like you. Now, 3, they like you a lot. 4 is a coach. That means that this person's willing to help you navigate within the organization, and you can get people to a coach pretty quick if they like you. And finally, a champion. This is somebody that's willing to take your flag up the hill. And they say, you got to do business with Rafael Marrero because he is the man. That is a champion. And they're taking your stuff up the hill. Notice that there is no zero or middle ground. That's the first thing I want to bring up. There's no middle. You can't say you start in the middle. You don't start in the middle. You start at the bottom, because if they don't know you, they can't buy from you. They will not buy from you. and we're going to talk about exactly why. So my question is, do you want to reach decision makers this year? I don't know that I did this. Do you want? Yeah, I did it. Here it is. Yes, I want to reach decision makers by 9:30. This is a yes or no question. And no, it's too late. I want to plan for fiscal year 2022. Or no, I need to understand the market first, which is no shame in that. No shame in that, right, Rafael Marrero?
Absolutely not.
That's right. We all start at square zero. There's no shame in that. Or do you want to just respond to bids, which is okay. Everybody can choose what they want. And we're going to talk exactly what you need to be doing when if you want to move this right now, because now is the time to move. If you're in the yes category, you have one thing to do today. That's only one. We're going to tell you what that is.
Just adding, the wonderful thing about the ISI team is they start where we are. So it's not like they expect us to have 10 things done. They start with where we are and help us grow in that space where we're getting sustainable contracts. So
Love it. Amy's asking a question. Hi, I want to know more about the real world impact of Biden administration changes to Buy American domestic content thresholds and possible changes to performance margins. How will this affect existing and new small business offerings? Boy, that's a great question, Amy. You're talking about the Buy American Act and increasing that to 55% right now, if I remember right. Sean May, am I right? 55?
That sounds exactly right.
Okay.
And if after this call, if she wants to, my contact information's in there.
Yep.
If she would like to talk a little bit more, I'm happy to do that.
Love it. And thanks for sharing your information, Ramesh. Very cool. John Murphy says, does every federal contract require a bid bond? And if an award comes through, will a performance bond be required? I'm assuming you're talking about construction. Is that right, John? If you're in the construction world, the answer is yes. It has to be bonded. And Michelle, do we have to have a GSA contract right now to win business in 9:30? Michelle, that's a great question. No, you don't, because you can win in different ways. Fantastic. Great questions. So I'm going to say, but what? Yes.
There's going to be another September 30th after this one.
There it is. That's exactly right. And that is half selfish for Greg, but I'm telling you, it's the truth. You're going to have it. All right, we're going to end this poll, and here we go. All right, for the 167 of you that said, yes, you want to be out in front of these people, this next session is for you. All right, we have one mission only, and that is to get contracting officers into the green. Let's talk about who these people are and what they will do and what they won't do. Right? First of all, they're busy, or they think they are, and guess what? They're pretty busy right now because they're in the throes of fiscal year end right now. The VA, their mission is to end all of their purchases by September 15th. So you have 15 days less if you're going after the VA. So they are busy. They are not going to teach you how to do business with them, will they, Rafael Marrero?
Absolutely not. It's not their job.
That's not the job.
Not the job.
Not their job. I love it. They are risk averse, which means they don't like new things. And if you're new, what does that mean? They don't like you. No offense.
well, it's not that I like you. They just don't like it.
They don't
like
you.
risk.
They don't like risk, and if you're new, that's risky. They don't like you. I don't care what anybody says. And
they don't know you. They don't know you.
They don't know. There you go. So they're experts in moving paper. Does this diminish their value, Rafael Marrero?
Of course not.
Of course not. They freaking move millions of dollars. They're experts in moving the paper, which the contract that has your name on it. That's what we're after, right? And here's what's important. They select the purchasing mechanism, which includes the socioeconomic set aside, whether it's going to be small business, whether it's going to go out to full and open, whether they're going to sole source using a sole source justification, whether you're feeding them an unsolicited proposal along with the J&A to be able to support your documentation. They're the ones that are going to be making the decision. Is it going to be set aside for woman owned? Is it going to be sole source for woman owned? That's coming. It's happening. I haven't seen a lot of it, but it's happening. You also have hub zones. You have all the socioeconomic concerns, which is why it's important for you, if you have the ability to have a socioeconomic set aside, you need to talk to who, Rafael?
Rafael Marrero, right here.
Rafael Marrero, this guy right here. That's right. So they select the purchasing mechanism, then they create the documents, and they go out to purchase. They want it fast and they want it easy. And those are the things that you have to hit. Those are the things. And that's why having a GSA schedule makes it what, Greg Clark?
It makes it easier, quicker, easier, and less expensive for the government to acquire the products and services they need. They couldn't have said it any better themselves.
Yeah, that's right. That's what they say.
Lots of questions coming in, Dave.
We'll get there. 1 second. I'll bet you I answer some of them. So, excuse me, there are 77,000 active contracting officers. That is a big ocean to boil. You can't boil that ocean. So which ones sell, which ones are buying what you sell? And we did this, I did this with Dr. Rafael. Listen to that R. Did you hear that, Rafa? Rafael. Rafael Marrero. I can't do it. Anyway,
Gringo, come on.
I'm a token gringo. That's all I can say. And I didn't even give myself that title. That was your people. They gave me that title. His people being the U.S. Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, by the way. And we did this in Albuquerque, right?
Albuquerque, and we did it in the Senate. Actually, it's the funniest
did.
part. That's when it happened. Yeah.
That's when it happened, when they called me the token gringo in the elevator. And then people shouting it throughout the Senate office buildings were walking down the hall. It was hilarious. It was awesome. Anyway, so let's say it doesn't matter what you do, because this works in all industries. But let's say you're a construction company. Everybody can get their heads around construction at the moment, right? Just pretend you're a construction company. You can look at the market, and this is 2 years worth of data, 2 years. So in 24 months, you have $70 billion. Is there money here? Oh, heck yes, there's money here. And we can tell you how it's broken down. And we peel this back based on what your NAICS codes are, your PSCs, your keywords, everything that goes along within your market. There's 123,000 contracts that went to 409 companies. Ladies and gentlemen, did you hear that? 123,000 contracts that went to 409 companies. And it looked like this: 76% were shortlisted. That means they only had 4 competitors. There were 5 responses, which means the winner only had 4 competitors. Is that where you want to be? That's a yes.
That's actually where you want to
That's
be.
a yes. That's an absolute yes. For all that money that I just talked about, the $70 billion, there was 6,189 buyers that spent the money. Don't you think those are the people that you want to reach? These are in your market. And if we peel this back even further, so you have overall, you have 6,189 buyers, 123,000 contracts, 346 were in New Mexico, 6,416 construction contracts with 22 different agencies in New Mexico. $7.1 billion in the last 2 years. Money to be made? I do believe so. So my question to you is, what do you got there? Somebody, who was that?
I said a little bit. Yeah.
A little bit. So my question is, this is going to determine how many contacts you really want to go after. What is one federal relationship? Not necessarily one contract, but you can put it that way if you want to. One federal relationship worth. Is it less than 10 grand? Because what if it's less than 10 grand, Rafael Marrero? What happens less than 10 grand?
Well, it's a micro purchase, and
It's a micro purchase.
you can actually win the business and get paid with a credit card, with a procurement card.
And with zero competition, as a matter of fact. They don't even need a J&A for that. They can do it. It's a beautiful thing. So the rest of it, and you still need some contract vehicles, and no matter what size contracts you are, but here's the method to the madness and your value proposition as you're looking at these people. If you're talking about going after these people, and we're going to give you 3, 2, 1. Let's look at this. Oh man, everybody's decided to get in. All right, I'll give you another 3 seconds. Come on, you can do it. 3, 2, 1, and oh, look at this, Rafael. This is pretty crazy.
Let's see.
Look at that. The most of the people, it's over $1 million, and they're right most of the time. One relationship is worth. Okay, fantastic. But I want to show you in this instance, oh, one relationship was worth $2.3 million. So it's over $1 million. And oh, by the way, when you do this research, you find the people that are working with the people, and you find out there's another contact that's $324,000 in your market. It doesn't matter what your market is. We do the research and we find out who they are. Because guess what? If they don't know you, they won't buy from you. You can't think of anything in the middle. It's not fair. None of this is fair. They're already buying from somebody that is servicing them. They know them. They have contract vehicles. They're already paying your competition right now. So our job is we have got to get on the buyer's radar. That's our number one objective right now, is to get on the buyer's radar. And remember, they don't know who you are. So this is the first step. And the way we do this is we do this with a capabilities email. This is the shot that you're going to take right now. You're going to take this shot. Capabilities email with an enticing subject line, something that is clickbait, for if you want to call it that. And it's a short message. We're not doing a diatribe. They're not going to read it. Short message with 3 bullet points, not 4, not 7, not 27 things that you do really well. 3 things that are your top things. And 1 that you want to get them to say, when you see this, remember me. When you see wiring, think AWG. When you see SharePoint, remember Invid. When you see data collection, remember iAdvantage. That's what you're going to put out there. When you see this, or when you think this, remember this, or do this. It's a command. When you see this, do this. Remember me. And tell them that you're going to be following up. And then if you're going to tell them you're going to follow up, Sally, if you tell them you're going to follow up, what should you do?
You better follow up.
You better
Get
freaking
on your
follow up.
phone, connect, do whatever you need to do, because they're counting on you to follow up. And if you
That's
don't,
right.
it's always a perception.
That's right. Be faithful in small things. The
Yeah.
signature line underneath of what you have, DUNS number, cage code, socioeconomic certs, and your vehicles. If you have any, that's where you want to put it. But everybody's got a DUNS, everybody's got a cage. And maybe you're a small business, boom, put small business. If you have vehicles like GSA contracts, IDIQs, BPAs, and if that sounds like alphabet soup, it is, put it in there. And then you want to have and attach a searchable PDF. And we're going to talk about that in just a minute. So it's hard to reach them if you don't know who they are. You can't possibly be calling somebody if you don't even know their name and their phone number. So here's what we're doing right now. This is the one thing that you can do today. Zachary, be ready for the link. Contact reports. This is what we do right now. We look at the past 24 months, who's bought in your space. We find their name, their agency, their email, and their phone number. We look at the dollar amount and the number of contracts and the competitors that they're buying from. This, we compile in a report and we create this. It's a custom report made for you. NAICS, PSC, keywords, agency, all the rest of the stuff that you see on the right-hand side, we can embody this into the contact report. You're going to click on the link that Zachary just put in there, and you're going to start right here. The top 250 names. That's what you're going to do. 249 right this second. You're going to buy it. And then if you want to upgrade, that's fine. You can go to 500, 750. You can even do market essentials, which is we do a light version for $2,000 that we gather everybody in your space. That report that I showed you was that exact report that talked about all the different markets, all the different buyers. Every time we've done it, it's over 2,000 folks that we will be plugging in for you. You can upgrade to that. You can do market essentials. We can do market essentials. Plus we can do the push for you. But right now you got to get on the radar with Zachary, because there's only so much time that we have to run these reports to get them to you so that you can start pushing out to the market. We can also talk about content creation as well as capabilities creation, which I am going to bring up in just 1 minute with Rafael Marrero. But right now, if you're, for some reason you can't find that link, put it in there again.
I just have to tell you, I don't know if any of you, I'm sure all of you are familiar with purchasing lists and digital footprints. what Dave and his team are charging is unbelievably reasonable. I mean, I just did some list estimates. We're talking anywhere from $1 a name to, you know, $200, $300, $400 a month. So
Yeah.
we're charging a price that makes it affordable for all of us who have small businesses.
Yep. So let's see, let's get some questions real quick. I'm doing the Q&A right now. So if you did one in the chat, there's like 99 plus chats in there. So it's hard for me to find. Will you send out a copy of the slides? We will send out a copy of the slides as well as a recording of the video.
Yeah.
How many watch this? There you go. Raj, I got both of you, Raj and Harold and Lena. And what's this? And Sandra, what is the size of a word before you have to file a single audit for a grant? That's a grant question. I don't know the answer to that. Does anybody know the answer to that?
We have grant people in the ecosystem. And so if you put the name in the chat, we have several fabulous grant people here today. One of which I know is a fabulous Hazel. I know she's
Hazel. That's
so
right,
Hazel.
Hazel.
Don't be shy, Hazel. If you want to put your information in the chat. When the person
That's right,
else-
Hazel. Put it in there, Hazel. Somebody's asking something in your
Hazel,
lane.
my friend.
And anybody else that has an answer to that, please feel free to raise your hand and we can talk about it. I don't know the answer that I don't know about the grant world. I know more about the contracting world. All right. So yeah, is that we have phase. Whoa. Oh, that's so we're talking about now Thomas Savell. I hope I said that right.
Oh, sorry. Someone said they couldn't hear me. What I said was we can help you with the grant world. We have people in the ecosystem who can support you. So feel free to put your information that you need in the chat and we go through it after and reach out to you with the resources you need.
Fantastic. So we have a phase one SBIR, SBIR. That's a grant, but it is run through the small business. It's a research grant. To get a follow-on phase two, which is fantastic, you can do a follow-on phase two with justification and approval to find a technical customer for our technology within the Air Force that is willing to sign a memo of understanding, MOU, nice, stating that if phase two is successful, they will use the developed product. How do I find email, phone number, contact, subject matter expert within the Air Force? We'll take that offline and we can start talking about who we know in the Air Force. And I think that's probably a combination of isiFederal and Sally White. That sounds what the combination is to me, right, Sally? You can help with that. All right. And is there anything in there that you see in the chat for that we need to talk about? Sally?
Liz Stinson is asking, can
Sorry.
non-profit organizations
So yes, there's
considered small
lots of
businesses?
questions. Go
Wait a
ahead.
minute, Greg, you first. What was that?
Liz Stinson is asking if nonprofit organizations can be considered small businesses. It sounds like a Raphael question.
I know the answer too, but Raphael, you can start. Small
Say it again, sorry.
nonprofits are not small business, right? They're other
No,
than
they don't qualify as small businesses because so they would participate, they can participate and offer services, but not as a socioeconomic category. They don't qualify for the small business set asides.
correct.
They can participate in grants. They can participate, they can go for funding. I don't know what line of work they're in, but they would not qualify, even if the owners or the president or the shareholders of that nonprofit are technically small business concerns. The entity themselves does not qualify.
Correcto.
And what you can do something really quick and feel free to reach out to me. They have Google grants. You can get $10,000 of free AdWords each month, which is huge for your SEO optimization for your website. If you are a 501c3, feel free to reach out and I can share that with you.
Nice. That's a nice little twist.
Little tip there.
And Michael Jones is asking, if I buy this report, how do I make the connections? Great question. If you need additional help after the report, that's where Zachary will help you with any of the upgrades. Those connections can come. I love emails and I love phone calls and I love LinkedIn. Those are the three areas that you can do it. And between us, between Sally, me, Raphael, we can help with the development of those. In fact, speaking of Raphael Marrero, let's talk about sweetening your SAM registration. How important is your SAM registration when it comes to a fiscal year end?
Oh, it's fundamental. First and foremost, it has to be active. You would be amazed at how many inactive SAM registrations exist today. Also, there might be a discrepancy in your SAM profile. It may show that you have debt subject to offset, right? So that right there may disqualify you from receiving grants and also from receiving an award for a contract, because the government deems that you're not that your ducks are not in a row like mine are.
Yeah, like you're,
right?
oh, by the way, I'm sorry, I forgot to,
The blue glasses, yeah, yeah. So think of the SAM registration as your electronic transcript. It's an X-ray of who you are. It's your vendor pre-qualification form. If you're in construction, that's the equivalent. And so your profile must be up to speed, up to date. You must have your information must be current, must be useful to help them make an informed decision. Okay, very, very important.
I just want to add something. I have a lot of people say, well, what would I do if I got a $25 million contract or $2 million? How would I make payroll? And Peter, can you answer that question?
great question. Go ahead, Peter. You still paying attention?
Anyway, I'll answer for him. So basically, so what Peter does is he lends based on the opportunity. So Peter will look at the opportunity and he will lend money in short-term lending for small businesses so that we can make payroll if we get these large contracts, because the government doesn't care. They're not going to say, well, I'm going to give Sally, $500,000 to make payroll as part of her $10 million deal. They don't do that. And so Peter's very helpful. So don't be frightened and you get a really large contract, because Peter can help out with
Yep. So make sure your stuff's in there, Peter. So with you, Rafa, you get, the first thing is making sure your SAM record is sweet. And
yeah,
and we're gonna ask
before you can even get to like a $25 million contract, you have to be contract ready and procurement ready. And looking at it strictly from a risk management perspective, which I do as a former C-level procurement executive for large supply chains, I need to make sure that the candidate that is proposing a product or service has their ducks in a row, has everything that I need in order to consider them, because they're an unknown entity.
Mhm.
And unknown entities present risk. And my job is to keep risk away so that the American taxpayer, right? If you're a contracting officer, the American taxpayer gets their fair share of their dollars value. So it's important. In order to get on the buyer's radar, you need capabilities statement ready to submit and attached to an email. It has to be no more than 1 megabyte file. The naming convention should be capability statement your company name capability statement .pdf. It should be a PDF file, 8.5 by 11, double-sided at the most, not to exceed 1 megabyte. Okay. Letter size. Please don't get creative. Don't start creating something that's landscape 11 by 17. That's not a capability statement. They're looking for an 8.5 by 11 document that says capability statement at the top, that has your company name and the essential elements of information. Okay. Don't get cute. Stick to the script. You want something that's designed equal parts form and function. You want to capture what I call the 6 C's. You need to have a capabilities narrative, and that capabilities narrative should be around 255 characters, including punctuation, and it should mirror what you have in your DSBS profile, in your dynamic small business search profile, which is owned by the SBA. It's that other profile connected to your SAM.
Very important.
That government buyers turn to look at your past performance, your bonding information, to look at your security certifications, Six Sigma, PMP certifications, non-government certifications, etc. Very important. Second, your codes. There are different kinds of codes. Just make sure you have the right ones and where they should be. Number one, at the very top of your document, aside from the word capability statement, right underneath it, you should always have your CAGE code, your commercial and government entity code, okay? That unique identifier assigned to you at the tail end of your SAM registration process. That's the final stamp of approval. You've been vetted by DLA and you are assigned a CAGE code. That means that your profile is about to go active. That CAGE code should be there. Second, you should have your DUNS number so that the government buyers and program managers and contracting officers and technical evaluators can look you up to see if you have any relevant past performance or if there's any notes in their system. I'm sure that Patrick can relate to this, right? They can look you up and you can undergo your sniff test, right? You should have your cage and DUNS and also your NAICS codes. NAICS codes are North American Industrial Classification System codes. They're assigned by the Census Bureau. There's a nonprofit association called NAICS.com. You should look them up. That's where you need to map all of your offerings to what's there, the most current NAICS codes descriptions. Now, underneath the NAICS codes, there are subsets of codes called PSC codes, okay, product supply codes, and think of it as like family members underneath that umbrella, okay? So 237130, which is heavy construction, right? For those of you in the construction industry, could have a subset of PSC offerings that fall underneath that. So make sure that you do a mapping exercise like the one I like to do when I whiteboard this out with my clients to make sure that all of their activities are aligned with the right codes, okay? That's important because I'm sure that Sean May can attest to this. There are a lot of challenges thrown out there when it comes to NAICS code challenges because a prime or someone who was just awarded a contract doesn't have the necessary experience in that NAICS code. And then someone will say, well, I want to challenge this award because they're not qualified, right? This is not their primary NAICS code.
Yeah,
Say again,
Raphael,
Sean?
you are absolutely correct. You are absolutely correct.
Yep. So before you talk to Sean, you may want to get these things ready so that you don't have to go to Sean and lawyer up, right? In that case. Aside from your PSC and your NAICS codes, if you're doing state work, you're going to want your National Institute of Government Procurement, NIGP codes, which is different from your NAICS code. That's for your state and local capability statement. You also want to have any type of codes relevant to describe your entity. So you've got your cage, DUNS, PSC, NAIC, and then back in the day, they used SIC. So those are your codes. The customers, who are your customers? Do you have customers in the federal government, in the state and local, in the private sector? Your government buyers want to know this. And also your contracts. Is there a contract that they can use to write up a project to hire you because they really like what you've got to say? You've got to spell it out. You've got to explain it to them, Ricky. You've got to tell them how they can write this up, okay? And then also they're going to look up your past performance and look at your CPARS reports like our buddy here, Patrick, does, right? He looks at CPARS and how good you look on paper, how well you've performed in the past. Your core competencies is another one of the C's. What are your core competencies? Black and white, meat and potatoes. Please don't give me any fluffy, hoity-toity, arty-farty descriptions. Give it to me straight. Tell me exactly what you do so that don't tell me that you can do everything under the sun. Tell me exactly what you're capable of delivering and that you have delivered consistently. Last but not least, your contact information, okay? This is a double-sided document. You want to make sure that on both sides, you have your contact information.
Great advice.
How do they get in touch with you? You would be amazed.
Amazed.
And then also make sure that you have professional email addresses. You know, you can't keep using your college email address, MacDaddy1970 at AOL.com. You can't use that anymore, okay? You gotta let it go and you gotta get yourself a professional email address with a TLD that reflects professionally who your company is.
Raphael, Dave, I got to tell you guys after this webinar is over about an email address that a client gave me to a government agency.
Okay. Sure. And Zachary's put his information in the chat again. Again, if you need more information, please feel free to reach out to Zachary and he can connect you with
All right.
anyone you need.
Hey, Raphael, this is Patrick. In the core competencies, I see a lot of people who are chasing after solicitations. Do you want to talk about really what the core competencies should be listed versus stretch competencies?
Nice.
Trying to get new stuff. I see a lot of people stretch and their success rate is very low and it dilutes really what they built as a platform for their capability.
Great.
I think that you need to stick to what your experience shows you are capable of delivering, right? These are your core competencies. I would say, 80% of my business is done in X, Y, and Z. This is what I do day in and day out. Now, can I write, can I get into financial derivatives? Sure. I understand financial derivatives, but it's not what I do every day. So why would I waste my time telling you how to get into that market, right? Or how to diversify your portfolio with that. I can, however, write a mean business plan for you, right? Because I can write a tailored business plan. I can get your marketing materials up to par and make sure that they stick, that it's something memorable to create a lasting professional first impression, right? And I can help you with your socioeconomic certifications to help you position for and win government contracts, and also compete in limited spaces where the big boys can't compete, and make you a desirable entity that they want to partner with, right? So those would be my core competencies, as opposed to saying, well, yeah, I'm going to do mergers and acquisitions tomorrow, or I'm going to do financial derivatives, and it kind of stretching away from what I do on a day-to-day basis.
And we see that all the time. We see it all the
time
time with people that put like 50 NAICS codes or.
Don't embellish. Do
don't-
not embellish. Do not
don't
embellish.
need
Be thorough and connect the dots, but don't embellish, because you're going to fall flat on your face.
Yep.
And they're going to see right through it. Okay. It's like embellishing your resume to look good on paper. The moment you come in for that first screen, you're hosed. You're done.
That's
Yeah,
exactly right.
More questions, Dave?
We'll get to those in just a minute, Sally. I want to make sure we get to it real quick. If you can read Spanish, I can't, but if you can read Spanish, this is the Good Doctor's book, La Salsa Secreta Tio Sam, on Amazon bestseller list.
That's right.
So there you go. That's this guy right here,
Well,
Rafael Marrero.
Dave, there's an English book that I co-authored with Kathy Porter, and it's part of Macmillan. It's called Implementing Supplier Diversity, and it's actually mandated college reading now for supplier diversity programs.
Nice.
And that was in English, so that one won't require subtitles.
That one, that's right. That English subtitles for the gringo. That's me.
Right.
All right, so I'm taking off my blue glasses now, because we're going back to Sally in just a minute. The other thing we want to do before we jump is we want to prove that we belong. And one of the things that you need is part of that is if you got the list, Zachary put that back in there again for folks who need to order just the fundamental piece. If you want to do adders, you can do that later, but get on the calendar right now for that. And then if you need some additional information and help and connections, that was one of the questions that we had from one of the gentlemen. Sally, that's you, right?
Absolutely. Definitely let me help you connect with executives, and also be ready to connect. So when they look at your LinkedIn and your website, it's beautiful, it's SEO optimized, etc. And we can help you write content, which I know Dave's going to talk about.
Yep.
And then don't feel bad if we didn't get to your question. We have all of this recorded. We will reach out to Zachary or me. One of us will reach out to you to make sure that you get what you need, appointments, et cetera, et cetera. So please know that we're doing the best we can to capture all your questions. We were up to 350 at one time, Dave.
That's
350
crazy.
people.
It was
Yeah.
crazy.
Love to talk to you.
So yeah, and so this question is for Sally. Do you need help on anything LinkedIn with my engagement message? This goes to creating the content in the email that we were talking about earlier. If you're sending a capabilities email, it's not just here it is. Your subject line, your introductory paragraph, the 3 bullet points, what it is you want them to remember, and your signature. Everything needs to be mapped out. Sally can help you do that.
There's some really cool things we're creating now. We're helping people at conferences and just out there, electronic business cards, or we're doing these QR snap codes, where if you meet someone, you really don't want to whip out your business card or you don't have it, they basically can take a picture from your iPhone and they can see your snap code, which goes to your LinkedIn page or your website. So anything like that to help them connect with you. Also your signature on your email. It seems really simple, but we can put your NACE codes and also have it link in and have a little video. So anything to help you present your best self and be the best version of yourself and company.
Love it. And you'll be getting feedback from if you answered any of those polls, you'll be getting feedback there. Greg, we're running out of time. I'm sorry, man. I have featured you in the past, so I don't feel so bad. But we are talking about vehicles. Most of the time, you can't get vehicles by the end of the year, but you can write good proposals.
You can write good proposals. There's money going to be spent October 1st.
That's a fact.
They have another year after this year.
You mean the government's not going out of business?
Get as much as you can now while they're scrambling to get stuff spent. They should have been spending for the last 11 months, but position yourself so that next year is even better from this year. And send me an email, give me a call, and we can figure out where you are and what you need to be.
And I have to give a shout out for Greg. I mean, he has helped a lot of the clients in Equitable. Like if you get an RFP or you're trying to submit a proposal, he and his team will actually look at it and say, wow, here's what I think about your chances of getting this, or you're capable, or he's really honest, and he does that as part of his services. He's amazing.
Yeah, man. And I throw all kind of stuff over the fence. In fact, anybody that responds here is going to get thrown over the fence to Greg. So you respond here. You need a GSA schedule, need help with a current proposal, with a future proposal, get your past performance in order. Real important if you're gonna turn stuff around in September, have your past performance in order, and just fill that out. And we will be talking a little bit more in the future. Today was all about one thing that you can do, and that is get yourself out in front of the contracting officers. First, you need to know who they are. Get on Zachary's list to get that done today, because you're out of time. You want to get to them as soon as you can. And by the time you get into September, it gets harder and harder to get their attention. So get out there, prove that you belong on their short list. You deserve to be on their short list. And once you're done with that, you follow up and you be persistent and you stay relevant. It isn't a one quick, all of a sudden bippity boppity boo and they're going to remember you. Wrong. Think about how you remember things. Think about how you make decisions. What's that, Sal?
That was cute. Bippity boppity boo, and they'll remember you.
That's right. So, but prove to them that you deserve to be one of the 5. As mentioned before, we had a question about this. Do you do factoring? Peter, you don't do factoring. You actually do lending to the opportunity, right?
Yes, and we lend against the invoice. We don't actually buy the invoice. So once you've identified the opportunity, we can provide a letter of financial support to assist you in winning the contract. And once you have the contract, we can help you finance that contract to grow your company.
Got it. And if you want to talk to Peter, you can answer this poll, because there was a couple of people that are asking about Peter, and he helps you flex your financial muscles, dude. So there you have it.
Peter's really humble, but he read me a letter the other day, and it was an individual who he helped start out. And Peter, just high level it. What was his start out, and what is his? He's like in the billions now. Anyway, he read me a letter of a small manual business, small business that started out very small, and literally this person's revenue is in the billions of dollars. And again, Peter's super humble, but it's amazing what this gentleman shared in this letter.
It is awesome. He does good stuff.
He does.
So we're going to get everybody out of here. Remember, Greg said it. It's not just about September 30th, but if you're taking your shot, Zachary, make sure you connect with Zachary today. Get on the schedule today. I'm going to end this poll. Appreciate that. And anybody, we'll make sure that you get the information that you need, because we want you to be successful. Looking at 2022, what is your plan for building relationships with the other characters on this list? Your program manager, your technical representative, your administrators. How are you going to do that? You need a plan. That's what we're going to be talking about starting in September and October, because you're only going to have 2 weeks left by the time this thing lands next time. You have got to get out in front of these folks, know your market, prepare, dedicate the resources. You can be successful. There's billions of dollars to be made, billions, trillions of dollars to be made. Now it's an insane number. Get in there, get moving. If you have any other questions, we'll stick around for a couple of minutes. Remember, quick fuse, QUIKFUSE.com. If you have a GSA contract, if you do not, you cannot use it, but you can test drive it. You can find us on LinkedIn, YouTube, and GovBrief. GovBrief.us is where we are. Here is Sally White's information. Make sure you can take a screenshot of that or write it down, but you can connect with Sally. I'm sure she's all over the chats.
Quickly, even though the ISI team provides this, and they're going to leave this chat open for a minute so we can link in with the link. At the very bottom, there's 3 dots. You click on those 3 dots, you click on save the chat, It shows in your folder and you can have a copy of the chat. But you
Yep.
won't get a recording and there's also slides. Go ahead.
Yep.
How about Peter?
And
Sorry
Peter
about that.
Timmis's information is right there. Sean May, if you need a lawyer, he's a good lawyer. And I don't say that lightly because I don't have a big affinity for lawyers, Sean.
Because
No.
David, nobody ever wants to hire a lawyer.
That is a fact. But I tell you one thing, we've done a lot of things together now with different customers, different clients, briefings as well. So I just, if you have any questions about FAR or anything else, these are the guys to check it out with. Greg Clark, if you need proposal writing, here's his information. You can reach out to him. And Rafael Moreira, the good doctor, here's Rafa's information.
And panelists, everyone's asking for your information again. So panelists, if you can paste your information, your contact information again, so people
Yep.
don't have to scroll up. It's really challenging to scroll up because every time someone types something, you go down.
It messes
So
things up.
Dave's gonna leave it open for a minute. Greg,
Yep.
Dave, and Zachary, don't shut us out.
Yep. And if you want to be on, you want to monitor sam.gov.
Yeah, I
And
was
you
gonna
wanna
ask
get-
you. I was
what's
gonna
that?
ask you, Dave, how do we get more information on that? On sam.bid amp?
The sam.bid amp system is the website is being revamped as we speak. It'll be ready by the end of this week. God bless me. And we'll be pushing out all kind of information on that. If right now you need to talk to Zachary, you got to get on his calendar, be on ramped. That's the
Okay,
best way to do it. And if you sign up today, you get 50% off, 50%. So one more thing before we'll get to some of the questions for finalizing. This Thursday, selling your business. If you want to increase the value of your business, go to govbrief.us. And Evan's going to be talking about that. Next week, I will be doing business with FEMA. This is a targeted event, but it also talks about marketing more broadly. And otherwise, we're going to see you September 14th. I think that's the right. Is that the right? I don't know if that's even right. It's the second Tuesday in September. But and then you can link in with me or check us out on isifederal.com. Let's go ahead and get to some of the questions here.
Everyone's asking if they're going to receive a copy of this presentation, yes. And
Yep.
if they're going to receive the recording, yes.
Yep. I just
But they
created a
also
modern
need the contact
website.
information.
I just created a modern website. I can sell products. I need buyers. I want to sell small items first, navigation products. Okay. We can talk about that and how you can push that out to the market. How do I sign up for the top 250 buyer report in my industry? Project management, leadership training. Fantastic. John Sensor from PCI Global. That is when Zachary puts this link in there, you're going to click on it. That's the best place to do it. What about new companies that don't have past performance? We would obviously not have most of these past performance items. You are right, Derek. And that's why you want to reach out to the key decision makers, maybe start small, maybe sub to prime, right? Rafael Moreira?
that's right. You need to build that. It's like building credit. So you've got to start as a sub and start building up some credibility and some street cred, if you will, in the government agencies, right? With the
That's
prime
right.
Contractors.
And people still buy from people they like. I don't care what anybody says. And that means if they get them to like you, they'll buy things. That's what happens. And last year we had somebody that came in right at fiscal year end, as a matter of fact. And her whole thing was, you're going to buy from somebody, try me. And she just pressed in with, hey, you're buying these things. Why not me? Give me a shot. Just give me a shot. If I don't knock your socks off, kick me to the curb, but give me a shot. It's $45,000. It's like that. It's cool. Can I focus the report to buy from ISI to primes and contractors who are on contracts which involve metallurgical and materials testing? If not, how close can I come? That's a great question. Victor, you need to schedule it. We will get you exactly what you're asking for. We can find the people that are doing servicing. So you may want to be selling to the vendors or the contractors that are providing those services. We can do that too. So how do we capture the chat, Sally?
Basically, you click on the three dots at the very bottom. You click on Save Chat, and you go to Show in Folder, and the chat will come up in your folder, and you can save it.
Yep.
I have it saved, So in the event that someone missed this, just email me and I will email it to you.
Yep.
But just a reminder, this is unrecorded, this is recording, and you'll also get the slides.
Fantastic. And
Yeah,
yes, it
we
will be
can-
recorded. A link will be sent out shortly after this. We'll have a rough copy of this and then a recap with a kind of looks nicer. We recap, we do the whole thing and gin it up, get it nice. And that'll go out early probably by the end of this week or early next week. Let me see if there's any other chats.
David Branson, it's the 3 dots at the bottom right next to the smiley face.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna text it. And same with Thad. So where you type your chat is everyone, and then there's like a little paper and there's a smiley face like Greg said.
If you go into where you put to type it in, it's just up a little bit to the
Another
right hand
question,
side.
can we use forecast to market? What is the past performance for bond contractors? Questions still come in.
What is the path for providing performance bond to contract? That's a question. That's a bonding question. When I was in the construction world in the early 2000s, that's something for another day. That doesn't come from the government. No dots.
I just told them to move their screen over. If you take your screen and move it over, the dots may be off your screen. So you left click on your mouse to move your screen over to the left and you'll see the dots.
All right.
Everybody has the dots.
If not, guess what, guys? We're going to copy these chats and we're going to put them as part of the.
You're gonna
the
get
send.
everything.
We'll send it to everybody. How about that?
Everybody gets it.
Do I have to be registered in SAM for small purchases? You should be registered in SAM, period. Yes. Right, Raphael?
That's right. Have to be
Just-
registered in
For
SAM.
anything.
Just starting out, how do you start subbing to prime? You find the prime contracting people prime contractors that are in your space. We can run a report for that too. We just talked about that, where your report can be specialized for prime contractors so that you can start reaching out to the prime contractors with what you do. All right. Anybody else? Last minute, last shot. Anything else that you see that we need? Sorry that we ran over, but I thought it was good. Make sure that everybody that needs that report, get it cooking.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, panelists. It was awesome. Nice to
All
meet
right.
all of you.
And Patrick, we're gonna get something on the books to start talking about what CPARS is and what that means for your past performance, because that's a huge deal, right?
That'd be great. Yeah.
Hey, man, good stuff. Awesome. Peter, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Greg,
Enjoyed it.
Sean, Rafa,
Absolutely.
appreciate all
Hey,
you guys.
Don't shut it off again. Someone's asking for contact information. 1 second. Put it in
Let's
one more
see.
time.
All right, so Todd will reach out to you to get the prime Zachary, why don't you pop your thing in one more time just to make
Yeah,
sure people
Zachary.
can link on that. He did it. Oh, there it is. AMP as well. And if you wind up doing do the other one, do the one for the reports
The reports.
in there. Put your link in for the reports. There it is. Custom buyer reports, what you want. Anybody that needs that, go ahead there. All right, do we need anything else? Are
Dave,
we
you
good
got to
to go?
remind me to tell you that email address that lady tried to use in her proposal.
Oh, yeah. Do you want to throw it out now? It's at the
Not
end
now.
or no?
This is not for public consumption.
All right, well, now we're all gonna jump on and find out
No,
what it
I'll
was.
call you.
That's right. Or Greg just
I'll text you.
disseminate,
I'll
text
text
it
you.
out, because I'm
Right.
sure this is gonna be a winner.
See you guys. Have a nice
All
week.
right, awesome.
Successful.
Thanks. Great stuff, Sal.
Bye.
See you guys.
Later, guys. Thanks.